Today's episode is brought to you by Organifi. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement line that makes quality, trusted nutrition convenient and accessible. Their most popular product, green juice, solves the problem of juicing greens on the go. Just add water, drink, and let your body soak up the benefits. Visit Organifi.com, that's Organifi.com, to learn more about an exciting offer for you, our podcast listeners.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to a special edition. That's right, a special edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by Eric Douglas Thomas.
I was waiting for the Bayesian sensation.
The hip-hop preacher. The Bayesian sensation is not with us. Okay. Carl, what up? I know you listening, man.
I'm just saying, that's what I'm used to hearing.
Yeah, the Bayesian sensation.
Because I come in after him.
Yeah. No, you coming in first today. We got somebody bigger than you in the building.
That's right. I know that's right.
So we're going to say the best for last.
That's right.
Shout out to Carl, who's up in Michigan. He's on his way down to Atlanta. We are broadcasting live from the legendary Patchwork Studios for this week's episode of the podcast. And, man, we have a special guest, my brother, my friend. You guys already know this guy. He's no longer a secret. Back in the day,
number one motivational speaker.
When we first met, you know, when we first met, he was underground. You know, it was kind of like, you know, it was like an underground hip hop legend.
No question.
And now he got
he's on the billboards.
Diddy posting this stuff up
on billboards,
and he's doing it big, man. My brother. Inquarius, Inky,
Government
Johnson. What's going on, Ink? How you feeling, man?
True honor, man, to be on with my brothers.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't believe we haven't had you on the podcast.
Yeah,
you've been with us everywhere. You've been on stage with us everywhere.
I'm just saying it's janky. We had a little mics at the crib. We can't bring him in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we wanted to bring you in on an illustrious platform.
Right, yeah.
And so, man, we're gonna get into some stuff with Ink, and I feel honored. I got my favorite two speakers in the world, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
What about Ray Lewis?
Yeah,
Ray Lewis.
Well, no, I got love for Ray. If I feel like running out and tackling somebody, but if I feel like becoming a better human,
right on.
It's only like I said, there's only two people that I listen to for my personal growth as a man, as a husband, as a father, and all of those things. I mean that seriously. And to have both of you in the room together. And I think one of the things I love about Ink, and it reminds me so much of E, is the real humility. And we'll talk about all of that, man. We'll go into that and kind of find out, where that swagger came from, and we'll find out some of your life hacks and some of your success strategies and all of that. But I'm gonna start with how King James got cheated out of game one. Now, I know I'm a King James fan, and we argue about it.
I called
I'm saying, so that's how I know it was bad, because he called me.
Yeah, I ain't got no hate for Brian.
That
they
was
played
robbery.
him. I'm gonna call it what it is. They
I
played
have
him.
never in my life seen them go in and change the call on the spot of a block charge. And especially, I'm tripping because you remember how Jordan used to get calls back in the day, and rightfully so. He Jordan.
That's why I said he the GOAT.
Right.
They
but I'm saying,
Jordan like that.
okay, so even if he's not the best, he's the second best. How do you do that to LeBron James?
I don't
you know what I'm
understand
saying? Now,
that's why I said something wrong.
If it would have been J.R. Smith, and he took the charge,
you got to call it.
You can reverse it. I wouldn't have been that mad.
Yeah.
But the King, I want to hear y'all thoughts. We'll start with Ink. Ink, what did you see? What did you think about that? And where does LeBron rank on your all-time list?
I think he got cheated. I think when they start talking about the greats, I think all of them do what they do exceptionally well. When you got MJ, you got Kobe, you got LeBron. I think there's a bit of a difference in mentality when you start talking about MJ and Kobe and LeBron. I think you got to press LeBron a little bit for him to take it there. I think as soon as MJ and Kobe step on the court, they trying to tear your face off.
Yeah.
And so, but I think definitely he got cheated. I think we saw it, but I also think, JR, man, he wasn't locked in. He blew it.
Yeah.
You got cheated, then you got another shot, and he blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that about, though? No. Let's talk. I just want to talk that through because, the jokes and the memes are out there, and let's get past that, though. But that was a big moment. You know what I'm saying?
Huge moment.
And like I said, I like to make Ink, our podcast relatable to the people, driving in their car. This ain't about the NBA. This is about in life when you have a big moment or a big opportunity. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
And there was an opportunity to steal game one, possibly win the champion. I mean, you talk about getting game one, the amount of momentum.
Absolutely.
And you saw what happened in game two. And I think we're always big, and one of the things E always taught me is if we can get a couple wins, we can get some momentum. So what is it that allows the greats to be ready for that moment? Because clearly LeBron knew what was going on. He knew what, was supposed to be done. Absolutely. And then you have a JR in that situation who wasn't ready for that moment. What's the difference in the mentalities? What's the difference in how do you develop that and be ready for those opportunities?
I'm going to give you my theory on this, right? And for those of you who are listening, for real, it's just my theory, but I really need you to pay close attention. And I think this is why we've been so successful, CNI and then, ETA as we're trying to move forward. You got a dude putting up 50-something points, bruh. It is easy to go into spectator mode. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like my man putting up 51 points. He blocking shots, making free throws. Like he playing 48 minutes.
Right.
Kidding.
82 games. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm just being real. I've been in situations where I've been with great pastors, great leaders, great people, and I've seen people just sit back and go, "Oh, pastor killing it," or so and so killing it, and they just going for the ride. Like I've had friends who've been with me who have just been like, "ET, we just gonna drive. He gonna go, he gonna blow it out. We all gonna get a check at the end of this thing." And I've watched the difference between CJ and some of the other dudes that I ran with. And C being like, "Yo, E sweet with it," and I ain't taking nothing away from E, but I'm trying to be just as sweet. And so I just think sometimes LeBron doing what he doing, you got to be a special creature to stay involved and stay active when my man first quarter doing it, second quarter doing it, third quarter doing it. And what I love about Kyrie, and I got mad respect for Kyrie now, I get it. Kyrie was staying locked in the whole game.
Absolutely.
And when LeBron might have got, for real, let's just be real. You putting in 48, he got a little fatigued or got a little tired. He knew then, like, Kyrie was like, here go my chance to kill him. And he had that killer mentality. So it was like both of them on that killer mentality. So I just look at JR and them like, yo, LeBron doing it. I could see them just hanging with Bron, like having fun, like Bron the man. You know what I'm saying? So that's my theory. What do you do when you with a great? How do you stay locked in? How do you stay focused when you may not have to necessarily carry the same weight? KD got to carry his. Steph carrying his. I know your boy ain't necessarily shooting like that. He playing defense. Day playing defense.
But still, that's a part of the game.
He locked in on his D.
And so got a triple-double the other day.
You feel me? So everybody locked in on what they do. Whereas with Bron, he do put most of it on his back. So when do you let my man put it on his back and chill? And when do you know it's time to say, yo, Bron did his part. It's time. So I'm just saying it's hard to stay focused when somebody that great, bro.
Absolutely.
I'm going to need you to know the score of the game, though. You know what I'm saying? I can see you missed the three.
Even a step further, Lou. You had 4 seconds. You could have called the timeout.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the video that just came out, too? Where Brown looked at Lou in the timeout. They had a different video they just released yesterday. Yeah. And Brown looked at Lou in the timeout and was like, did we have a timeout? And you could see Lou saying, yeah, and Brown just put his head. It was like,
4 seconds. You could have called the timeout. Or nobody locked in.
I'm going back to it, though.
Wow.
Phil is great. So Phil locked in.
Yeah.
He a coach. Yeah. He locked in. Lou, no disrespect to him, but LeBron's still the highest. Yeah. He's still the most elevated dude on the whatever. Right. Kobe might have been elevated, but Phil wasn't sitting back watching Kobe go, ooh, or even MJ. Right. Phil wasn't watching MJ going, oh, he had it again. He still was in, I'm the coach of this team. Absolutely. I run this show. Mike, you do what you do, but you do it in the context of I still feel like Lou watching like LeBron killing it. Yeah. And so everybody in LeBron mode. Yeah. And it's easy for you to tell me to come out of that. But if I'm in it, 82 games, I'm in it. I'm watching Bron do his thing. And I'm like, hey, Bron gonna get us out of this again. And so when you got the rock, you not used to being Bron. So you get it, it's hot potato. You like, pressure, what do I do? And you don't know what to do. Why? Because you have not been doing it 82 games. And it's hard to do it in the biggest stage when I hadn't been doing it consistently throughout the season.
Yeah, it was two people that was geeked that he did that, though. One was KD, because KD didn't block out. I'm like, KD, what are you doing?
What was he doing?
How did you let JR come in and get the rebound in the first place? Like, that's a huge free throw. You're not even blocking out. And then, of course, George Hill. Ain't nobody talking about the fact my man almost airballed that second one. You was nervous, bruh. You was nervous. And, for me, like I said, man, I just want to be ready for that big moment. And
But talk to the people, though. Ink, talk to the people. This is why.
This like your big gig. Ink, you got 100,000. You overseas. There's people all over. And you get out there and go.
Perfect example. I hit E. E might not even remember this. A while ago, and I had one of my early corporate gigs, and I hit him, and I used the language of, "This is a big gig. How should I approach it?"
Yeah.
And E responded, "Why is it big?" And I was trying to understand it, but what he was saying was every gig should be treated as it's big.
Yeah.
Every moment should be treated as if this was your last moment, right? And so a mentality comes with that, an edge comes with that, and it's like, if I'm playing you in checkers, if I'm playing you in Connect 4, if I'm playing you in Monopoly, I'm going to try to destroy you.
Every time.
Right? Because I'm scared to turn it off. I'm scared to get It's almost like the story of the alligator when he eat, and he get comfortable. And what was it, a jaguar? Came down in his environment and sniped him.
Hit him.
Out of his environment.
Hit him.
You don't go into an alligator's environment and get him.
Yeah.
He went into the alligator's environment because he got comfortable.
Yeah. No, I think that's big, Ink, and you right there. And E it's funny because I was with somebody. We were at the camp yesterday. Shout out to Jalen, who's in the room. We had the triple-double camp the last couple of days, which was incredible. But E was in the room with the parents. Now, E ain't getting paid a dime. And I'm talking about he's going in. He's sweating, sweat pouring down his face. And somebody pulled me to the side. He's just like, he loves doing this. And I was like, yeah, he does. And I'm thinking about what you're saying now. So that way, when E gets in front of 20,000 people, it's like, yo, all I got is one game. Like, I don't have a, downshift where I just go in like, okay, it's some teachers, so I could chill here. And so what happens is, if you put it in the NBA context, it's like, oh, okay, we playing the Kings tonight. I'm just going, 5 points, couple. Your body knows how to do that. So when we talk about muscle memory, I think the thing that you two are so great at is when you finally get on stage, it don't matter where you at, you only got one gear. And so that's a great point, Ink.
I just want to. Yeah. He just gave y'all money. Send Ink a check. He gave y'all money. Look, this is what's wrong with this generation. If you're doing it for money, you cutting it on and off. If you're doing it for money, if they ain't giving you bread, that means you ain't going to come clean. That means you ain't going to give 120%. So that's why I do it for the love of the game, because that just means every time I do it, I'm going to be firing. Who make the most money? The basketball player, not that can put up 40. The dude that could put up the big numbers and do it consistently. I can't pay a dude who gonna put up 30 in one game, then he gonna put up 5 in another one. I can't build my team around inconsistency.
Absolutely.
But if you could score 17 a night, and I know you can give me that 50 games out of 82, I can build something around that. So for me, young people, listen to me. You temperamental if you can only do it for money. And if you temperamental, it just don't mean I don't know when I can count on you. And we can't make money if I don't know when I can count on you.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's why I was at the camp murdering it, because I don't know who in the room who could give me another opportunity. Who in the room that's going, man, shout out to Charlie Bell. Spartan Dog was in the room.
Sure.
He in there watching, right? Bro, he comes to me and say, yo, and Jalen might have been next to us. I don't remember. But Bell was like, yo, E, I been wanting to do a camp in Flint. And I just don't have the time to do it. You think Jalen can run my camp next year in Flint?
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we go from Charlie Bell's camp, whoever else want to get a camp.
Yeah.
It might turn into he doing a camp with us and then doing camps for all the other ballers that want to do a camp at the high level. And this one was sweeter because it wasn't just about sports. You got parents getting trained by other educators, by engineers, etc. So I'm just saying to this generation, listen to me. This is your Uncle E.T. talking to you now. I cannot pay you to be inconsistent. So if you only doing it for money, then I don't know if your heart is in it.
Absolutely.
But if you're doing it for the love, and I know your heart is in it, and you're going to execute every single time we turn the lights on, we can build something. We can build an empire with that.
Yeah, no, and I want to, real quick, the camp, man, it was phenomenal. Shout out to Ink for coming through. Appreciate you coming through, blessing us. And also, man, big shout out to Cam Newton, who came by the camp last night. That was big for Cam to come by. You know, in this industry, when you get to that level as a celebrity, everybody wants your time. And you know what's crazy? Back in the day, I used to be like, man, they Hollywood, and they don't want to come through and stuff like that. And now I realize, just even with being with E, like, everybody wants 15 minutes. Everybody wants a hug. Everybody wants a picture, and it's so hard to accommodate all those people. So big shout out to Cam Newton for coming through and blessing the camp.
Shout out to Cam for not coming to Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, he came right off the plane, came straight in, and gave him a 10, 15-minute message.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, you take a picture with me, we out. So shout out for that, man.
And so, man, I was so inspired by the camp yesterday, or the other day, Monday, I guess, that I called Josh, and I told E afterwards, but the next camps we're going to sponsor it. And so no charge for the kids. We wanted them to Jalen to run it like he did this time. He did a great job, but I was in there and I watched the growth and development of these young men. I watched young men who may not have had father figures and things of that nature in there, and the growth and development that they had. And I said, you know what? We can't even charge for this no more. Like, we have to sponsor this and get as many kids out as we can. And so the next camps, and we'll have the information. Jalen, if you have the information for me at the end of the podcast, we'll shout it out. But we're going to be sponsoring, 150, 200 kids on our own. We'll do that through our solar company, Harbor Solar and ETA. We're going to sponsor these kids. We'll get the food. We'll get the shirts. We'll get, the trophies, the building, everything we can do, because when I left out of there, I was just like, man, this is amazing. Like, we need to do this, and we need to sponsor this, and I want every kid to come. If you can make it up there,
Absolutely.
You can come. And so big shout out to you guys for doing what you did at the camp the other day. To think about it, you got Inky Johnson, Eric Thomas, and Cam Newton at a camp. I mean, that is some explosive stuff. And so good stuff, Jalen. Proud of you, boy. You did your thing, man.
My son asked me, could he go every day?
Oh, yeah, okay.
He got home. My man said, Dad, we can go to that every day?
Yeah, well, he had to leave Jamaica to do it. He had to leave Jamaica.
That's big that he want to leave Jamaica.
Hey, my son want to go every day.
Yeah. He ain't trying to. He sure ain't trying to leave. Yeah. So yeah, nah, man. I guess verify. My wife was mad at me. She said we in the new house, Ink. And she said, I noticed you got all your rooms set up in your man cave, but you didn't really come with it on the rest of the house. So fair foul, and Boog was with me. Boog helped me. We had the Spartan stuff set up. We had everything. So she came down.
You sound like a millennial. Right. You sound like a millennial. You only doing your thing.
I only did mine, bro. I wasn't interested in nothing else. Master bedroom looked crazy. Sports bar on bang.
I saw all the Spartans.
No doubt.
Magic had his spot.
We had Magic Johnson. Yep, me and Boog spent several hours the other night getting the house ready. So my house is it's almost finished, man. We in that thing. So shout out to everybody for the prayers and support. We got the man cave done. All right. Ink, man, I want to jump into the story. I don't want to assume that everybody who is listening to us right now knows exactly who you are, although most of them do if they follow us. You've seen Ink come on our platform, and we don't do that. I think that's the crazy thing about it is we don't do, like, E doesn't just have people on Thank God It's Monday. That's like his pulpit, and he's very protective of that. And he had you on and was co-signing it, and obviously, so some people may be familiar through that, and then went off and found you on their own, and some people just found you organically. And I think the movement is crazy. Although you did have some recent troubles with the online, but we'll talk about that later. But let's go to the story, man. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia, and you actually grew up.
That's right.
Not too far, I guess, from here, I guess. And so tell us, just kind of give us the recap of growing up in Atlanta. And I want to paint the picture for our listening audience as to why you are who you are and what you stand for today and kind of what you went through to get there, because it's an incredible story. So take us back to the beginning and kind of the origins of Inquarius.
Absolutely.
Am I saying it right? Is it Inquarius?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. I like Aquarius.
Some say
like
Aquarius.
You know what I'm saying?
Say Aquarius.
Inquarius.
You in the neighborhood.
Yeah, there you go.
Good.
Yeah, take us back, Ink.
But yeah, man, born and raised in the city of Atlanta, right by downtown, neighborhood called Kirkwood. To be exact, the zone is 6. Atlanta is split up into 6 zones. And 2-bedroom home, 14 people. Mother had me at 16 years old. And like any other kid, man, I had a dream. You know, I felt as if I made it to the NFL, you know, I could help my family have a better way of life. You know, we coming up 2-bedroom, 14 people. We was sleeping on the floor, you know, getting the opportunity to sleep in the bed one night out of the week. There would be 6 in the bed, 3 at the foot, 3 at the head. And so we started off playing football in the street, tackle football every day after school. That was our routine, bloody, scarred up. And coach came down the street one day, white guy. And his drug dealers on the corner, gang members on the corner. And when he got out of the truck, they strike out. You know, my Uncle Bo doing 40 years now. You know, they screaming, Ink, don't talk to him. He got to be the police, right? Nicest guy in the world. He walk up, y'all want to play ball? I'm like, man, I would love to. Go get your parents or your guardian out of the house. They come out. My uncle comes out. Talk to him. He like, man, I run a league across town. Bring the boys out, sign them up. Great opportunity. My uncle like, we just don't have it. Like Ink mom, she work at Wendy's on the double shift. She ain't got it. Other 3, their fathers are in and out of the system. The coach said, I tell you what, you bring them to the park tomorrow, I sign them up, I'll pay for it myself. The next day went to the park, he paid for it. And in my family, the only people that ended up going to college was me and my 3 younger cousins that he paid for in that street that day. But when he did it, I'm the type of person that when somebody does something for me, I'm loyal to him to death, right? And I was cognizant enough to understand that he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to stop in the street. He didn't have to pay his own money. He didn't have to invest in me. My man was showing up on Christmas. We got robbed one Christmas Eve. My man showed up on Christmas with a bag with some drawers and some socks. Like, Ink, I got the call from your mom. It's all I could do. When I was a kid, right? I'm 32. My man still give me drawers and socks every Christmas. I don't even need them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of person.
Yeah.
Like, when I got injured at the end of the hospital bed on my mother's shoulder crying. Like, that caliber of person.
Yeah.
And so what happened with me was it shifted my perspective about how I did what I did and why I did what I did. Coming up in the city of Atlanta, you got to get it how you live. Like on Cat's voicemail, get it how you live, right? And that was the neighborhood that I was in. Whether cats were selling drugs, whether cats was robbing, I didn't want to do it, because I saw the collateral damage early.
Yeah.
I saw the generations of cats not having their fathers. I saw the generations of cats giving up. And so with me, man, I wanted to first and foremost get to a position and a place to where I could just help my family have some stability and a better way of life.
Where was your father at?
In and out. You know, my father left early. When my mother got pregnant with me, my father bounced. He lost his mother. You know, I would soon find out he lost his mother when he was 14 to cancer. And his mother was basically all he had. And so he had been running. And so when me and my father finally linked, I called him when I was young and I was playing ball and they told me he could play ball. And so my mentality was I need to connect with whoever can play so I can get to where I'm trying to get to quick as possible. And so I'm like, man, can you help me work out? And it was literally strictly business. Like my man would pick me up, train me, drop me back off from time to time, strictly business. And one day I was riding with him and I just asked him like, man, what happened? Like, where were you? Because my mother despised him. Like despised him. I'm talking about every time they got in the room, it was like a rock rider in a pit and a chihuahua. She was the rock rider, right? She despised my man.
Right.
She's at his head.
Yeah.
And so one day I just asked him and he manned up to it. Like I bounced, no excuse. I was running. I was a kid. I was scared. And I could respect the truth, you know? And I think when I forgave him, that was a burden lifted off of me.
Yeah, and so you figured out pretty early that you were good at football, and you're not a big guy,
not at all.
But I guess the heart must have been, on full display. But when did you kind of figure out that, hey, I'm pretty decent? Is this like middle school or whatever? Like, because I want to talk about getting the crim and the security guards and kind of the doubt. But like, when did you start figuring out like, okay, I can play this game for real?
Absolutely, it was middle school, and so it was a guy by the name of Thomas Brown. He played running back at Georgia, and he went on to get a shot at the Falcons. Me and him were the tailbacks. We ran a wishbone offense with our coach, and so we won the championship every year. And it was just me and T-Bone and, of course, the team, but they were just handing it off left and right. And I figured out pretty quick that I was a step ahead of everybody. You know, my mentality was kind of different. When cats would leave practice, I was still being a part. You know, and part of that was I didn't want to go back home sometimes because of what was going on, whether it was doors getting kicked in, drugs being sold. Yeah. And so I would stay in the park. And my mother, when she would get off work at Wendy's, it was right around the corner from the park. She would come, car lights, whole nine. I'm like, Mom, you turn on your car lights. She's sitting in an old beat-up Buick Regal, right? And she would sit in the car, and she would turn on the car lights. And I'm the only cat in the park. I'm running. I'm doing the W drill. I'm working on my technique, right? And so I realized very quickly when I would try to get other cats to do that with me, like Cat wasn't on it. Like Cat's like, no, I'm going to go play my game.
Right.
I never played a video game. I don't know how to play one until this day. Right. And I realized very quickly about the 8th grade that it was a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, and so then you get to the neighborhood high school, which was Crim. And you get to Crim, and people didn't want you to go to Crim, right?
No.
They said that there was no chance. Walk us through how you ended up at Crim, the neighborhood high school, and kind of what the odds were there. And you had some interactions that later you would I guess you would cash out on a couple bets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us about that.
So Crim is it's Alonzo A. Crim. For anybody in Atlanta, it's Atlanta Public School, and they used to call it Crime High. And my mother and father attended the same high school, and the name of it was Murphy High School. They used to call it Murder High. And so a principal got shot there, and cats, it was nothing, man, to see cats running through the hall with guns, drugs. Like, we saw that on the daily. And so when I got there, it was metal detectors, it was polices. It was like TSA before TSA.
Yeah,
right? And so I walk in and, I see it, the life at Crim, whether it was guns, drugs, whatever. And my mom, she was like, I can't play with your future. And I was like, give me a shot. And I'm talking about coaches riding up after practice. Coach picked me up in the 745 one day. I'm walking home. My man like, get in the car. He like, man, you got to come over. He was trying to get me to come to Carver at the time.
Okay.
And of course, the coaches were trying to get me to go to Tucker. Because my little league
were those
coach,
neighborhood schools as well, just on a different side?
Carver right over here on the other side of downtown.
Okay.
Tucker is on the total
but
opposite
public
side
schools
of town.
though, just better public schools, or
Yeah,
okay, got
better
you.
public schools.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, no, I want to go from Crim. And my sophomore year.
But right there though, why was it so important that you went to Crim, and you could have went to these other, but like, why did you? Because Crim hadn't produced much at that time, so there wasn't that source of pride. Like, I want to continue the legacy.
Right.
So what was it in you at that age that was like, yo, I still want to go here and do it from here?
Because I knew if I would have went across town and even made it, I still had to come back to Kirkwood. I still had to walk the same streets.
Right.
I still had to look my cousins in the faces. Right. And I knew their excuse would always be when I spoke to them and challenged them was, you went across town. Like, you didn't make it where we came from.
Right.
You didn't go to Crim.
Right.
So they was always looking to justify it. And so I felt as if I had the fortitude to make it from Crim, I can eliminate a whole bunch of excuses and give cats another option to make it. And so I wanted to make it there first and foremost because cats didn't believe that it could be done. But secondly, with my cousins and the people close to me, I knew if I went across town, I still had to come back to that 2-bedroom, 14 people. When I would have spoke to them about, man, you could do it. Nah, man, you went across town. And they would have justified all of their actions. And so my sophomore year, I did get transferred to Tucker. My mother and my father, they got together, put a plan together. You getting out of here. They sent me to Tucker. I hated it. But I didn't go to class. I sat in front of the school every single day with a cop. They thought something was wrong with me. I hated it. I wanted to go back to Crim. When they transferred me back to Crim, I had straight Fs. They didn't even supposed to let it happen.
Wow. So you sabotaged yourself pretty much.
Sabotaged it.
Like,
didn't want to be there at all. I'm like, I'm not going to class.
Yeah.
And they like, Ink, we'll get you an automatic scholarship to Georgia.
And so real quick, when you were at Crim, you had an interaction. I want you to tell the people one of my favorite stories about the story with the security guards. But everybody didn't champion you there because here goes the thing. You go to Crim and it's like, okay, I'm the neighborhood hero, right? Ink stayed, kept it real, and they didn't. Nobody really didn't really believe in you still. So tell us that story of the security guards and what happened when you got to Crim.
Yeah, he asked me a question. I was hyped. I'm at the door one day, and he asked me, he said, what's your plan, little man? And I said, man, I'm going D1. I'm going to college. And my man responded, he said, you'll probably go to cell block D1. And he went to walk off. And I walked with him, and I'm honestly thinking, like, man, my man must be making a mistake.
Right.
You know, because all of us in Kirkwood at the time, we little dudes, you know, we look about alike. I'm like, my man must be making an honest mistake. So I walk with him, I tap him on his arm, and I'm like, man, excuse me, I ain't never seen you a day in my life. I don't think you've met me before prior to this. I said, I think you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
And my man was like, no, I know about you. I'm like, know about? He said, yeah, you had 2 uncles coming to the same school. I said, yes, sir. He said, little athletes just like you. I said, yes, sir. He said, they serving 13, 40 years federal penitentiary, right?
Yeah.
I said, yes, sir. He said, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Wow.
You'll probably end up in cell block D1. And he went to walk off. I walked with him, and I tapped him again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like, you got the wrong one.
Yeah.
And he like, we'll see. I said, we going to see.
Yeah.
And so I love it. So you obviously go throughout the rest of high school and you're balling out.
Absolutely.
And just so the people know who don't see you in front, what's your measurables? And you go
I'm
what?
5'10", 165 pounds.
Okay, which is not you 5'10",
Probably was a
165.
little smaller in college.
Oh, way small.
Yeah. So he was you bigger than E. He was going 5'5".
Yeah.
125.
125.
Yeah. So you would have murdered you'd have murdered E.
Yeah, no questions
But
asked.
in terms of size, you weren't the biggest guy.
Not at
But
all.
you start at what point did you start getting recruited? Like at what point did schools start coming and like this is now like a real thing? Because at that size, for all my non-sports people, let me break it down for you. 5'10", 165. You're not necessarily the prototypical size for D1. That's like D2, D3 size, right? And so in order to be recruited at that size, I mean, you got to have some serious skill, some serious heart. You got to be laying that wood. So was it your sophomore, junior year when colleges start coming?
It was late.
Late,
because
okay.
academically, when I transferred to Tucker that year and got straight Fs, it hurt me. But also when I transferred back to Crim, like they didn't even know at the time when I was trying to go to college, like the sliding scale, the core courses.
Right.
Like I didn't know any of that.
Right.
And so I was so late in the game that when they came, like my senior year, I had to get straight A's in everything, right? So I'm going to Saturday school after game. Like I'm going to tutorials up in Marietta. And so they came late my senior year. And when they came, Georgia was the first ones that came. Tech came. Mississippi State came. Tennessee came. And most of the schools that came, they thought, honestly, I probably wasn't going to make it academically because I hadn't passed Georgia high school graduation test. Or I didn't have SAT, ACTs, just not taking it serious. Thinking like the average. Like when I spoke to the kids at the camp, I told them, I said, some of y'all might not understand why they call it student athlete. Like why the student comes before the athlete. I said, I was just like, yo, I could dunk. I could play baseball. I ran track. Like I'm thinking athletic ability gonna get me there. Until they sat the paperwork down like, no, you need this, you need that, you need that. And so most of the schools that came in, they like, yeah, we think you'll make it, but you probably going to have to go to Hargrave Military Academy or a JUCO. Right. And when Tennessee came, man, they like, no, we believe in you. We'll see you in the summer. They said, we'll see. We believe in you. Wow. I said, bet. I'm going with you. Yeah. That's all I needed to hear.
So just the fact that they believed in you was enough for you
they
right there.
They didn't question me.
So then tell us. Okay, so tell us about the recruiting trip. You go to Tennessee, and what happens on this recruiting trip?
Yeah, I go up, man. They whining and dining me, and I'm telling them like, man, y'all ain't got to even spend the university's money. I'm like, I'm coming. They like, nah, Ink, we want you to have a good time, and so they take me to a restaurant called Calhoun's. They bring me out. I'm with my host, and job of a host, show you a great time. And my man like, Ink, you ever been to a sorority party? I'm like, nah, I never been. And so he like, we going tonight. He like, they get pretty wild. I'm like, bet. I said, you mind taking me to the Marriott? He like, yeah, I'll take you up and get changed. And so we go up and I'm getting out of the car and I say to him, I said, all right, man, I'll see you tomorrow. And he like, man, what's wrong with you? You sick? He said, I told you we got to go to this sorority party. I'm like, bro, like this the first time me having my own bed. Yeah. So it's a king size at that. I said, man, bump that sorority party. I said, bro, I'm going up in this room. I'm finna kick it.
Yeah.
Right? I got my own room.
Yeah.
Bro, that's a whole.
Like, bro, I'm in a 2-bedroom home with 14
that's a whole
people.
podcast. Yeah.
I ain't never had my own space.
Wow.
Right? With my own food. I'm in the room. I'm so oblivious. I'm in the room calling my boys back in Kirkwood.
Yeah.
Like, bro, y'all got to go to college. They like, college? I'm like, y'all get your own king-size bed.
Yeah,
right? We slept on the floor.
Unbelievable.
And so when I got there, my perspective was different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the sorority party, I come from Atlanta.
Yeah.
By the time I was senior in high school, I seen it all.
Yeah.
You know, so
You live right down the street from Magic City.
Right down the street.
The sorority party ain't
Right,
gonna
8
necessarily
minutes.
force
You know what I'm
the deal,
saying?
I mean.
8 minutes.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
The
saying?
Freak Nick was out there when you was
all
coming.
that.
When you was coming
8
up.
minutes.
So man, so you get to Tennessee and you get there, and now everybody's big, fast, strong, and going after it. Walk us through kind of the early career and finding your way at Tennessee as an athlete, as a player. Like, how does that work out when you get there?
So when I get there, like you said, everybody big, fast, strong. But most cats came from real programs. Like most cats, when they make it to that level, you got a couple that comes from programs and they slip through the cracks. But most cats come from real deal programs where they got weight rooms, all that.
Football factories.
Yeah, like I didn't come from that. And so when I got there, it was like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, man, you got the weight room, you get 5 pair of cleats, you got training table. Like you get 5 meals. You know what I'm saying? You get a smoothie when you want it. I'm like, bro, it's on.
Yeah, it's on now.
I'm like, I made it here without that.
Yeah.
I'm like, now I got it. So to me, I'm looking like it done leveled the playing field for me. And so most cats, I kept the same routine that I had with my mother.
Yeah, say that.
When cats would leave practice and go to the dorm, I'm in the facility.
Same.
I'm on the wall.
Yep, same routine.
The only thing that's not present is my mother.
Yep.
When cats would leave on the weekends, I'm still there. I graduated in a little bit over 3 years because I didn't go home.
Right.
And so when I was getting things, cats were complaining. And I'm like, man, praise God. I could switch my cleats. Like, praise God, bro, I get 5 meals?
Yeah.
I never had 5 meals as a kid.
Right.
I barely got 3.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, it was about outworking cats. Like you had cats big, fast, strong. Everybody don't have that work ethic though. Everybody not gonna push it to the limit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not gonna stay in that facility till it's dark. Like cat, I used to be in there with the janitor. Me and Gerard Mayo went first round 10 pick to the Patriots.
Yeah.
We would be in there with the janitor. And freshman year, I played special teams, played a little bit at
So you
corner.
didn't redshirt.
Then red shirt.
That's crazy.
Outside of the QBs, I was the first freshman on the field. And I got 2 stars, right? Like they gave me 2 stars. Like the stars are the recruiting rankings.
Right,
So you
right.
got 5-star cats for the people that don't understand. You got 5-star cats supposed to
Right.
be the cream of the crop.
Yep.
4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars.
Yep.
2 stars supposed to be shaky. They gave me 2 stars right before I hit campus.
Wow.
They wrote an article that labeled me Mr. No Star. I was cool with it. I needed it. I put it in my locker. So when they gave me the 2 stars, I'm like, it's on. Like that's home for me.
In effect, that was probably similar to the security guard and where he told
at
you.
every level.
Now you got another one at Tennessee.
At
Wow.
every level. So
Yeah.
so that's home for me.
Yeah.
And
So
No, go ahead.
So as you now you kind of got your special teams and doing that.
Yep.
When did you start starting?
Sophomore year.
Okay, you started your sophomore year.
As a sophomore year, I
Yeah.
started starting, and things started going really well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I used to look at the depth chart, and I literally watched me go from 3rd string to 1st string. And the thing that I wanted to do was I used to backpedal campus, like the whole campus. I would backpedal it in the summer.
Wow.
And the thing that I wanted to do was
What do you mean? Like
Backpedal
you would
to
backpedal
campus.
like
Yeah,
to
campus.
class or like
no workout.
Ju-
I would
oh, okay.
backpedal campus.
Yeah.
Like down the streets, I would backpedal the whole campus in the summer
Yep.
and run the stadium.
Okay.
And so the thing that I wanted to happen was, I always said I wanted to work so hard and separate so far that when the coach put up the depth chart and I was starting, I wanted him to put all the corners up on one side, and I wanted him to put me on the other side solo. And I still remember the day when it happened, when I broke the starting lineup and he put
Yeah.
all the corners on the right, and he put Inky Johnson on the left in my sophomore year.
Yeah. And so you go through your sophomore year, you have a great year.
Great year.
Balling out, you come back junior year,
Yep.
primed and ready.
Absolutely.
And kind of take it from there.
Yeah. And the summer going into my junior year, my coach, Larry Slade, defensive backs coach, we had Cal the first game, and they had Marshawn Lynch, they had Deshaun Jackson, Justin Forsett. They had a couple first rounders.
Yeah.
And so I was doing my scouting report, and he came in the room and was like, Ink, I got some great news. You know, you're on track to graduate in 3. And he said, you're projected top 30, man. If you go out, you handle your business. You'll be an automatic multimillionaire after this season. And so I run out, I call my mom and my grandma, like, hey, listen, after this season, like our lives are about to change. Everything we've been working, sacrificing for, we're about to get it. We'll never struggle again. Like everything is about to take shape. First game we come out, everything goes great. We run Cal out of Neyland. I get nominated SEC Defensive Player of the Week, have a great game. We execute it. Second game playing against Air Force. We're thinking it's going to be a rollover game. We're getting ready for Florida the next week. And fourth quarter, man, Air Force had punched us in the mouth. And it's a little bit over 2 minutes left in the game. And the quarterback dropped back, and we were in quarters coverage. And he released the ball to a guy. He catches it, receiver. He's coming down my sideline. I'm going to make the tackle. And as soon as I hit him, I was going to wipe him out, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I hit him, it seemed as if I lost control of my body. Like my body went completely limp. I fell to the ground. I blacked out. Had never happened to me before. And when I opened my eyes, it was a shock going from the crown of my head to the bottom of my feet. And I couldn't feel anything, right? Scariest moment of my life. And I'm just sitting there. And my boys running over to me, and they like, Ink, get up, let's go. And I'm like, I can't. They're like, what do you mean you can't? Like, you always get up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't move. They're like, what do you mean you can't move? I said, man, it's a shock going through my whole body. I can't feel anything. And the shock left, and it stayed in my right arm and hand.
And so this is, and then the next thing you know, what, you waking up, you're in the hospital, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They
So
put me on the spine board.
do you
and took me to the
remember, like,
hospital.
so you don't remember leaving the field?
Oh, I remember it vividly.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
and
I
you remember
remember
hearing the
everything
crowd,
vividly.
like,
I remember it vividly.
Okay, got you.
Yep.
So you blacked out just for that moment.
Yeah,
and then,
like
okay,
when I
got
hit
you.
him and I was falling.
Yeah. You
I
remember.
blacked out
Okay, and so
when I
then,
hit the ground.
so what's going through your mind as you leaving the field? Before we get to the hospital, what's going into your mind as you're leaving the field? Are you thinking maybe I just got hit real bad and, got shook up on concussion thing? Or are you knowing that there's some, like, serious trauma and this is ugly?
Nah, I'm thinking it's football. Things happen. I'm like, maybe I got a stinger, broken arm, nothing serious. They got me on the spine board. I asked the doctor, could he raise my right arm and hand? I lifted my left. I pumped it. Crowd chant, Inky, Johnson. I get by the ambulance. My dad standing there. I said, Pops, I got him, right? I put it on him. And he was like, yeah, but I think you got the worst part of this one. And they rolled me up in the ambulance. They said, we'll take you over, run a couple tests, sure everything will check out fine. And so nobody is taking it that serious.
Yeah, and so then you get to the hospital. At what point do you find out this is not just your run-of-the-mill stinger and that there's something seriously wrong?
Yeah, so they get me to the hospital, and they're going through protocol, and they take me back, and they're running tests, and they bring me back into the room. And so everybody's still calm and cool, and so I'm back in the room. I'm lying in my bed, and my mom comes in, and she kisses me. She says a prayer, cracks a joke, and she's going to walk out. She's like, Ink, it's football. Everything will be all good. And I'm watching my mother walk out, and as I'm watching her walk out, the head doctor came running. I could see him jogging from the opposite side. And he screamed out, like, with an intensity in his voice, like, guys, get in here. Said, we got to rush him back to emergency surgery, like, this guy about to die. And so I'm thinking, partly like, my man got to be joking. Like, he playing. Because the event, like, everything was so calm. Yeah. Then he came in, he like, about to die. I'm like, what? I'm like, what happened? I'm like, man, you can't use another word.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, use a synonym.
Right.
Like, die? I'm like, he like, yeah. I'm like, die? He like, yeah, you about to die. I said, what happened? He said, you ruptured your artery in your chest. You're bleeding internally. He said, we got to take you back, take the main vein out of your left leg, plug it into your chest, or I guarantee you won't be here in the morning. Man, so
they said they had to take it out of your leg? And
Yeah, they took, I got 7 cuts down my left leg to where they took my main vein out and they put it in my chest. So you go into surgery immediately? Immediately.
Yeah, and then you wake up from surgery, and this I'm guessing this is what, Sunday, late Sunday now, early Sunday. Game was on Saturday night. And what's the first thing you do when you wake up and out of the surgery and you're conscious? Like, who are you looking for? Who are you talking to? What are you thinking about? Or like, what's going on in your mind?
So when I came out of surgery, there was a lot of people coming into the room, checking on me, and mother crying, and Coach Foreman asked me a question, like, Ink, how you doing? And to be honest, I don't even know how I responded this way, but this is what I said. And they did a newspaper article on it. I was like, Coach, I'm good, man. I'm blessed, you know. And I was sitting there because after that surgery, they found out that I had torn the nerves in my brachial plexus, because when they were in repairing the artery, they had to pull it back. And when they pulled it back, they saw the nerves.
Plexus?
Your
It sounds like a dinosaur. Or something.
Right. It's the nerve roots that go from your spine and basically controls your shoulder, your arm, and your hand, and your fingers.
Okay,
So the
gotcha.
way we move our shoulder, arm, hands, and fingers, that's the nerve roots that come from our spine. And so most people stretch them.
Yep.
I had torn them out, and so they couldn't be replugged. And so they gave me that news later that day as well. And
so you didn't know it initially?
No.
Okay.
No. So I guess they wanted me to soak in what had happened that night.
Yeah.
Then later on, gave me the next batch of news.
Yeah, and so then with that news, then are you still thinking you could play? Like, are you still thinking like, okay, heal this up, get my brachial plexus all right back, and we'll be out there, you know, maybe next season. I'll be ready by the draft, or like, what's going through your mind at this point?
It was surreal. I didn't believe it. Right? And the reason I didn't believe it, like, see, I had been working, man, from 7 with my mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the park, moments that I still get emotional when I talk about it because it's real to me. Like, moments in the park that people didn't see. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother getting off work. I remember my mom saving up checks to buy me my first pair of Nike Vapor cleats. You know what I'm saying? So, in a moment, making a tackle, you talking about all of that work and sacrifice gone? Like, in the street, coach paying for it, like, all of that, it could disappear in a moment. I'm like, man, this can't be real. That's why I told one of the docs, I'm like, man, no disrespect to you. I'm like, man, but you wasn't in that park with my mother. Like, you wasn't waking up Saturday mornings running 2 miles to a fire station. I'm thinking hard work will solve it. I'm thinking I go to rehab, I get in the routine, I'll be back. Because I didn't think something could disappear that quick, that you had put so much work into. I didn't think life could redirect that quick, right? I thought it would be a process first. And so when it happened, it was still a feeling of, I'll be back.
And so this happens on a Saturday, and then, I mean, what? And so then, I guess, what was the point where you figured out that you weren't gonna play? Like, when did you kind of did that take a long time? Was it months later before that would sink in, or
December?
Okay, so December, and then, but before we go to that. Did you take off the rest of the school year? What happened?
No, sir.
Like, okay, so walk us through, like, Saturday, you're in the hospital for how long?
Yeah.
Like, a day to a couple days?
I was back in class that week. Yeah.
So you went back to class
that week.
that week.
Oh.
And back to practice too? Or you
Went back to practice.
Was everybody telling you, like, to go home,
they told me go home.
recover, rest? Why didn't you?
Because I made a vow, man, to my grandmother and my mother before I left Atlanta. I told them that I would graduate college. Like, I told my grandmother that, told my mother that. And I didn't say I would graduate college if I didn't go through adversity. I didn't say I would graduate college if I didn't have an injury. Like, it wasn't conditionalized. I just told them I would graduate college.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't any stipulations attached to that. And so if I almost lose my life, but I get another chance at life, I got to fulfill my vow and what I told them I would do. And so when I went back to class, it was about something greater than just football. When I went back to class, it was about something I told my mother and my grandmother, people that I got the ultimate amount of love and respect for. And so I went back to class. I had to learn how to write again. And some professors, they don't care for football players like that.
Right.
Because they feel as if cats got it gravy anyway. And so I'm in class. I got a sling on my arm, and I'm trying to learn how to write with my left. And I'm telling some of them, but some of them thinking like, well, my man might just be trying to get over.
Right.
Like, he got an injury. I'm like, nah, I might be out of there. Like, I'm trying to, they like, nah, I need this 40-page paper.
Yeah.
I need this 30-page paper. If you got to go to disability services to get it done, go to disability services to get it done. And so I went to disability services. I handled my business. I still graduated under 3, got my master's in 4.5.
So you said in December you realized that, okay, this I'm not gonna play again.
Absolutely.
And what was that moment like, and how did you come to that realization? Like,
Yeah.
why December, and like when, like, okay, you were like, okay, this is, because up to that point you had to be holding out hope that you'd be back on the
absolutely,
field.
no question.
And so what was it? The doctors that came and were like, finally had to tell you, like, Ink, bro, this ain't getting ready to happen for real, for real. Like, we know you got heart, we know you're gonna
Right,
work your
yeah,
butt off,
yeah.
but you're not getting back on that field.
Absolutely. And people have been trying to lay it on me easy,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to go to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, which is supposed to be one of the top hospitals in the world. And so with having to go there, this was when they had to do the major surgery. And 3 doctors walked in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, listen, man, like they already sensed my spirit. I was up there a couple of days prior to the surgery.
Right.
And so they know I'm in the room.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
man,
Telling
it's
everybody
whatever.
I'll be back. Right.
They reporters call. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll be back. So they know, like, oh, this cat, he on that. He gonna come back. And they came in like, man, it's over. Like 3 doctors. It's over. Here's why it's over. We're gonna do a surgery, try to get you just back to normal living with your arm, to where you can lift certain things, to where you can grab certain things, but it'll probably never be the same. Here's what we gotta do in the surgery. And so when that happened, I walked out of the room after my meeting with the doctor, bro. I didn't even make it back to my hotel room, right? I stopped in the hallway, and I sat down, and I put my back against the wall, and it was like somebody just knocked the air out of me. Because in that moment, it was finally real, and I had to face what I had been not wanting, not thinking to be true.
Yeah. And so that's in December. And so then you graduate, and, you know, I got to imagine, like, when it happens, like, the whole community rallies around you, right? Like, everybody's Ink, you know, you got the newspaper calling, people showing that love. And then it's like, at some point you get this news and everybody kind of goes back to their daily routine.
Absolutely.
And it's no long, like, people may show love still, but it's not like the hype of it kind of wears down, right?
Yep.
And then, so you graduate, and then, I mean, what's the plan now? Because this whole time, all I've heard you say was NFL was the plan. I was going to, you know, so once you come to the realization that that's not happening anymore, and you have to change courses, what, obviously everybody knows you speak now, and you earn a great living for your family, and, you know, one of the most incredible speakers on the planet. But at the time, did you what was the plan? Like, you go from feeling like you're gonna be a multimillionaire, like, through a certain vehicle,
Absolutely.
and now you go. I mean, are you saying, like, man, like, what was your major? Maybe I could be a sports broadcaster. Like, what was going through your mind when you have to now drastically change courses?
I thought I was gonna coach.
Okay,
You know, I thought I was gonna coach, man, and because that seemed like the more natural transition, and I still loved the game, and so I'm like, I'll just be a DB coach, and so I started down the path to become a graduate assistant, and I was doing it, loving it, and along that path, my wife, she ended up getting pregnant with our first daughter, and so as a graduate assistant, I wasn't even making $1,000 a month. Like, I was making a couple $100 a month.
More than E was paying me as a graduate
know what I'm
assistant,
saying?
by the way. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't pay him Michigan
No.
State.
Michigan State.
I ain't even had to pay him.
Yeah. And so my wife, man, she gave me that ultimatum.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make a decision. And I'm like, what you want me to do? And she like, I want you to come back to Atlanta. And so I started trying to set things up to work at the rec center.
Okay.
And wanted to create curriculums for the
in
kids.
in the neighborhood?
In my
like,
neighborhood.
In Kirkwood?
Like
Okay.
Kirkwood.
Yep.
Bessie Branham
Yep.
Recreation is right on Kirkwood Road.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I'll just go back to my community, lead, help kids there, you know, and do that. And so I called the guy. He's like, yeah, you got a job like tomorrow. Like, Ink, you could have left yesterday. I got you. I'm like, man, praise God. That was easy.
Yeah.
And I get to Atlanta. I call my man. And he don't pick up. I email him, don't respond. Call him again, don't pick up. Never heard from him again. And so I'm there in Atlanta.
To this day, have you?
Yeah, I heard from him now.
Oh yeah.
He tried to get me to come speak. I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, that karma came back around.
Yeah.
So no job there. So then
No job.
So then what now?
I'm living in my wife's grandmother's home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a 2-bedroom home.
So just a little smaller than your house now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A 2-bedroom home, you know.
Yeah.
And it's my wife, my pregnant wife, her grandmother, her sister, and her sister's kid, and my wife ended up having our daughter, and somebody had got my daughter like a little wagon for a birthday, and like we used to let my daughter sleep in the wagon, and we would put pillows in it, and every morning I woke up, bro, it hurt, like it was just a shot, like bro, like this you, like this your life, like this it, and I had my book, I had completed my book before I left Knoxville, but I wasn't doing anything. I just had a book.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have any connect. I just had a book, right? Showing people, hey, I got a book.
Yeah.
And I got up one morning, and I said to my wife, she was about to go to work. My wife's a teacher. And I hugged her. I said, babe, you ain't going to believe it. She's like, what's up? I said, man, I'm about to go to Chicago. I'm about to go meet Oprah.
Yeah.
And my wife like, oh, okay. She said, you know Oprah?
I know that's right.
I'm like, nope. She like, oh, you know anybody that work at Harpo? I'm like, nah. She like, oh, okay. She said, you want to do it? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, go for it. And I took off. And I called one of my buddies on the way, Jeff, an attorney, in Knox. I'm like, Jeff, you ain't going to believe it. Jeff like, what's up, Ink? I'm like, man, I'm headed to Chicago to meet Oprah. Jeff like, oh, okay. He said, Ink, you know Oprah? I'm like, nah. He like, oh. He said, I know what this is. He said, you ambitious.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to hang up and call me back because the chance of that happening, slim to none. I hung up. I called him when I got to Knox. He said, okay, you still going, ain't you? I said, yes, sir. He said, pick me up so I could ride with you. I don't want you to be too let down. We get to Chicago that night. Jeff get a hotel. He said, Ink, you want me to get you a room? I was like, no, I sleep on a cot. And I didn't even have enough money to get a room.
Wow.
I had a 2X suit.
Wow.
I had about
2X
$250, $300 to my name.
Yeah.
And next morning we get up. I go to the front desk. I'm asking the people for directions. Jeff is standing in the corner. And they give me directions. I was going to catch a taxi. And Jeff said, hold up, Ink, wait, man. I'm going to go with you. I don't want you to be too let down when it don't happen.
Yeah.
And we get in the taxi. We get to Harpo. We get out. This was around the time her last shows was happening. And so when Jeff get out, Jeff say to me, Ink, I'm going to go across the street to this coffee shop. I'm sure this won't be long. Right? Like it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
see you in a minute.
Ass.
Right? And so it's so many people that whenever a door will open, I would run into the door with my book. I'm like, hey, Inky Johnson, I just came up from Atlanta. I want to open my book. They like, get out. Won't do that. I'm like, man, I thought y'all was nice. man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oprah, yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I thought y'all give away cards.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I got so like disappointed, bro. I was sweating, and I got around the back of the building, and I sat down in the parking lot, and I'm like, man, bro, when I get home, my wife gonna be hot.
Yeah.
And I get up and I walk around the side of the building, and it's like a homeless guy, and he's sitting on the curb. And I said, I sat down with him. I said, hey man, how you doing? He said, man, I'm great. He said, how are you? I'm like, man, I've seen better days. I'm like, the irony, right? And I look up, and at that moment, on that sidewalk was nobody but Oprah and a security guard walking toward me and my man. I get up, you know, I dust myself off. I start walking toward her. And in my mind, I'm still thinking, like, the interaction ain't gonna happen. My man just gonna go up, move me
Snatch
out of
you
the
up
way.
real
You
quick.
know what I'm saying? And sure enough, she walked straight up to me, grabbed my jacket, nice suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you, right? I'm like, thank
Yeah.
you. I say, hey, I'm Inky Johnson, drove up from Atlanta to give you my book. She
Yeah.
grabs it.
Yeah.
I said, would you mind if I take a picture with you? She said, sure. We took the picture. She said, all right, I got to get in and do my show. I said, thank you very much. And she's going in, and I'm going to walk off. My buddy Jeff running down the sidewalk. Ink, tell her to wait. I'm like, nah, you ain't believe. You good. Nope. Right?
Yeah.
And the security guard called me, man. He was like, hey, little man. And I turned around. He said, come here. And I walked over to him. He said, I just want to tell you what just happened never happens. He said, I ain't telling you you're going to be on the book club. I ain't saying you're going to be on the show. He said, but I just want you to know what happened, that never happens. I said, thank you. I walked off. I sent the picture out to cats. I put it up on Facebook, social. People like, oh, you gonna be on the show? You gonna be on the book club? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care.
Right.
They're like, what do you mean you don't care? I said, because if that's how me and God rocking, I said, it's over with. I said, if I can get up in Kirkwood, leave Kirkwood and say to myself, all right, I'm going to go up, I'm going to meet Oprah in Chicago, and I'm going to give her my book. And God orchestrates a situation and put me direct front and center with Oprah, put my book in her hand, take a picture with her. I'm like, we rocking like that. It's on.
Ink, I think one of the things as you're talking, I'm just, getting from your story is, you've always been able to speak things into existence. Like, you said, hey, I'm going to work my way to D1, and you did it. You said I'm going to work my way to the starting point. You did it. You said you're going to work your way to Oprah. You did it. And the other thing, and I'm sure everybody caught that, but the other thing I hope people caught was that the expectation or the outcome of what was to come from that was out of your control, and you never fully stressed that part of it. You said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do to get the book to Oprah, and that was what you could control. Once you gave her the book, it was out of your control. And I think sometimes people in life, the stress and the anxiety can come from trying to then control the outcome. And so how do you manage to work with, I guess, the expectation being that you're just going to work and let the chips fall where they may? Can you talk to some of our listeners who are having a problem with, they hear E, they hear you, they're motivated, they're inspired, they're down to put in that work.
Absolutely.
But then when they don't see the outcome they want, I went to the gym 18 days in a row, and I still look chunky, right? And talk to me now, Ink. Look at me when you say this one, because I need to. How do you say, hey, I'm going to put in the work, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, and then I'm going to let the chips fall where they may, because you didn't make it to the NFL, but that was beyond your control. That was a freak accident.
Absolutely.
But you didn't let that derail you to the point where you're like, okay, well, life's over because I had this expectation that if I did this, then this would happen. Absolutely. How do you tie your work just to the work and be happy with whatever comes?
Yeah, the question is this. Can you be committed to the process of what you do without being emotionally attached to the results of what you do? Meaning, if you don't get what you thought you were going to get, can you still be the same individual? See, the blessing for me was, the reason I consider this injury to be one of the best things that ever happened to me is because I was in a process to where brachial plexus avulsion, nobody can give you an answer. It's not a 3-month, not a 6-month, not a 9-month, not a 12-month. It's not an ACL. They put me in a 2-year process. They ordered me every piece of equipment on the face of this planet. And they told me at the beginning, what you bring to it is what it's going to be. We're not telling you when you get through with this 2-year process, your arm going to work. We're not telling you you're going to be able to curl. We're not telling you that you're going to be able to bench press. But what we are telling you is you can try it. Right. We don't know what's going to happen. You can dedicate 2 years to it. Almost 5 days a week for 2 years. We're not telling you the outcome. And so now I got to own the moment. I got to come in every single day and I got to bring it, or this process is going to destroy me. Because at the time, it can create a false sense of hope. It can make me think if I involve myself, my arm going to work again. It can make me think I'm going to come out of it and I'm going to be a better individual, but the expectation was set. So for me, see, money is not deep enough to get me going. Materialistic, superficial is not deep enough to get me going. Like, I got to have a certain level of integrity and dignity as a man. Like, when I look in the mirror, that does something to me. Like, as a man with my children and my wife, like, if I know I'm not out doing what I'm supposed to do, like, that bothers my conscience, right? And so when I say, can you be committed to the process of what you do without being emotionally attached to the results of what you do, everybody know what to do when they get what they're supposed to get. Right. Everybody know what to do when everything go right. Everybody know how to respond when they get a check. Everybody know what to do. But most cats got counterfeit passion. Like, most kids got counterfeit dedication. Like, it's counterfeit. It's cheap. Like, it's cheap. It's counterfeit. Like, most cats let the politics take their passion. Like, it's cheap. Like, you're not real, because the moment you don't get what you thought you was going to get, you game over. You out, right? And so most cats, when the outcome is not what you wanted to be, can you still show up and operate as if it's day one? Like that founder's mentality. Like when I first got on it. Like, go back to that moment when I first started. Like, I asked the Knicks, I said, what happened? They like, oh, Phil Jackson. I said, Phil gone. Jeff Hornacek, Jeff gone. Triangle offense. I said, it gone. I said, y'all forgot. They're like, forgot what? I said, you forgot when you was on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
You forgot when you was in the project, you was just hooping. You got $100 million and the politics took your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Like now if you don't get what you want, now you're not going to give 100%. Like you got an integrity problem. Like you got a character and a dignity problem. If you just wired to go when you get a check or when things fall in place, like, come on, man, quit that counterfeit passion, man.
Yeah, no, I think that's the sign of the greats, right? And that's the thing we respect about the greats is how you operate in those moments. You know what I mean? And you're right, man. That's human nature, I think, for most people to, when things are good, I'm good. When things are bad, I'm bad.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so you did a great job of breaking that down. I'm going to bring E in here in a second, but just kind of talk to us about when the actual speaking got started. Like, what was your first speech? Do you remember your first speech?
It was graduation.
Yeah, so what happened and how did you even know, hey, I got this other gift? Did you always know you knew you had it?
No
Like,
idea.
or like when did the actual, speaking side come about?
I had no idea, man. And they put me in public speaking in college. I dropped the class on the second day. Wow. I hated it. I'm like, man, I never speak. Like, I'm good. I just do interviews at the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started speaking, it was therapeutic. I'll just go out, share, informal. It helped me get off what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And a dude came up. It was a quarterbacks club event, and it was just a Q&A, and a dude came up like, man, I want you to speak at this graduation. And so I'm just like, cool. And at the time, I wasn't charging. Like, I ain't know nothing about it. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, cool, yeah. Like, yeah, we're going to bring 5 schools together. I'm like, bet, yeah, I'll go. And I talked to my wife. I'm like, you cool? She's like, yeah, do it. And I went and I spoke, had no idea what I was doing. Just talked from the heart. Mm-hmm. And I left the stage, and my man gave me $2,500. Mm. And I rolled home, and I was happy as I'd ever been.
Yeah.
Right? And I went to my wife, and I'm like, man, I just got $2,500 to speak. And she happy, and I'm like, we might got something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you got
$2,500. You already got something.
Compensated me to do
you got $2,500. You got the book. You got and so from there, I'm guessing it just kind of like organically led to another engagement, and kind of built into what it is now, which is amazing and just incredible to see you traveling the country for those. You just mentioned speaking to the New York Knicks, obviously NFL, NBA, corporate America, and it's so great to watch and so fulfilling to watch because it's such a similar blueprint to what we did. You know what I mean? And as I watch it, and obviously we've been, brothers for some time now. Absolutely. And so, just being a part of this journey and being able to see it. Real quick, where were you and what were you doing the first time you saw E speak? Because obviously you knew of E before he knew of you. But when did you first hear? Was it the Guru story? What was it? And then what kind of compelled you to reach out to E?
Absolutely. It was the Guru story. And when I saw it, I was like, man, that's crazy. It gave me chills, right? And, of course, I went to watch other things of him speaking. And for me, it was powerful because, like, I view E even until this day like a trailblazer, like in terms of, like, the Martins and all. Like, that's history. That's a legend, right? Being in the presence of a legend. And so the reason I reached out to E and to you was to be connected first and foremost to some brothers that's doing something that's amazing, but also to learn. Y'all further ahead than I am. Y'all doing what I wanted to do at the time. You know what I'm saying? What I wanted to do. And so, I'm not an arrogant cat. Like, there's no ego with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so with me reaching out and trying to understand or even seek counsel and advice from how y'all did what y'all did, why y'all were doing it, and whatever advice that you all could give me, it was all originated from being a student
and
of
I think,
people that I admired and respected.
Yeah, no, I think that was one of the things that, obviously, being in the situation we're in, you get thousands of people that reach out. Can you help me? Can you mentor me? Whatever. But I remember watching, I think it was the speech you did to Tennessee, and I was like, that was the only one I had ever seen. And I was like, yo, this dude is ill and probably reminds me more of Eden in a good way
right, absolutely.
than anybody I've ever seen before. And so you know, I remember you had reached out or whatever, and I think E forwarded me the message, was like, he's in Atlanta. And I was like, yo, come through the house, whatever.
Absolutely.
And I think you came through the house and we chopped it up, and I was like, okay, he's the real deal. Like, the humility won, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I get cats that'll hit me up and be like, yo, see, I want to pick your brain. And then we get on the phone for 10 minutes and they just talk the whole time and be like, yo, thanks, you helped me so much. Like, you just wanted to hear yourself talk, or like almost audition for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? To let, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. Ink came with a notepad.
Absolutely.
And still to this day, he'll come over to my house with a notepad. Every single
Absolutely.
time he comes to see me,
Absolutely.
he brings a notepad and a pen.
Absolutely.
And he's like, yo, let's go. And I see you, and I see the humility remain. You're obviously on tour with us as we go around these cities and do our thing together, which is amazing. But you still, I watched you last time we were, you know, you were there, and I think you opened the conference and E closed it, and I saw you in the back of the room taking notes while E was speaking.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's incredible. E, for you, what, obviously, you know, we run across thousands of speakers, and there's great speakers out there. What attracted you to Inky, his message? Because he doesn't really, and I'm not gonna say he doesn't like anything. He doesn't listen to anything. Like, I listen. Like, I'm very in tune with other podcasts. I'm in tune with other speakers, how they're running their companies, things of that nature. Like, I want to know what's going on. For E, he doesn't care. Like, he just, and I think he doesn't want it to sway the jury. You know, it's kind of like you don't want to, you know, let somebody else style rub off or whatever it is, or maybe you just don't have time. I don't know. He's a different kind of cat like that. But what attracted you to Ink to the point where you would say, yo, I want Ink on Thank God It's Monday? Obviously, anytime an engagement comes across that E can't do, E was like telling our staff, like, yo, send it to Inky immediately. Like, E, why did you take that, you know, kind of big brother mentor role in Inky's life? Because we all know it's not just the talent that, you know, reason you would do that, you know, and your time is obviously very, you know, valuable these days. And what was it in Ink, even back then, that you saw even before Ink's kind of rise now to pop culture fame, which is what it is? Like I said, Diddy reposting the videos. You got celebrities all over the place just posting and reposting. And I remember those moments for us when cats start like seeing like, yo, this thing is real, and feeling like not only are we, you know, making an impact on like our underground fan base, but pop culture starting to take notice. E, what was it about Ink that kind of let you know, hey, this kid is special and I want to be there for this ride with him?
Yeah, well, I got a question for you. Let me ask that now. I got a quick question for you. But for me, it was like I could tell you were a shepherd. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of cats. And it's no disrespect to the people that's in the game. Like, this is America, bro. America, at the end of the day, is about capitalism. It's about, you know what I'm saying, make as much money as you can, you know, whatever. But I saw you as a dude who you didn't see people as a dollar sign. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see people as a hustle. You know what I'm saying? You saw people more as, like, I would do this for free. You know what I'm saying? And probably had done a lot of stuff for free. But, like, you really cared about the people, you know? So it kind of reminded me of a Martin, you know what I'm saying? In this generation, somebody who literally cares about the people, and you do it from your soul. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what it was. But you were talking earlier, man, and I some people have heard your story, right? You know, but one of the things that I haven't heard you talk about a lot, I don't think I've ever really heard you talk about it, but I hear it, you know, it's an undertone when you talk about your father. But I see the Instagram posts. I see you going to the baseball games. I saw you at the game with your son. Right. Talk to me as a father, bro. Like, it's Father's Day coming up. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple weeks.
Is it? What's that? What's
that? I'm trying to remember it myself personally.
What's Father's Day?
Yeah, they don't. Walmart don't necessarily talk about it, but I try to talk about it when I can. But I really, that's a big part of you. Like, how do you feel like having your children, you know, your son? I see you on the trampolines with your babies.
Absolutely.
How has that taken your game to the next level, or what has that done to you as a person?
Absolutely. It lays at my focus. And so with me, my father, he's the best grandfather in the world, you know. And what happened with my injury was, it was a point in time to where in that process, they didn't know what was about to happen. They didn't know if my arm was going to get amputated. They didn't know if I was going to live, I was going to die, like in the process of it. And I was in a room, and I was lying in the bed, and I'll never forget, I had my eyes closed. And I think my mother and my father thought I was asleep. And so my father was lying on the floor on his back, head to the ceiling. My mother was lying on a little cot. And my father said to my mother, Ruby, I'm sorry. He said, you did a great job raising that boy. And my mother started crying, right? And I looked at that moment, when I say that, this moment, my injury. And I said, man, if this moment can birth that, and my father got his life together, and he had daughters and a wife, if this moment can birth that, like when things happen, opposition, adversity, and challenges, if I respond to them in the right manner, it has the possibility to go on to be a blessing to others. And so when my children came along, in the process of how they came along with my wife, I've been knowing my wife since elementary school. And so I've always wanted a family because I grew up in dysfunction. And so I knew along the way mistakes are going to be made, shortcomings are going to be made. But when I have my little man, and I have my little lady in my family structure, I want to be the leader. I want to be the champion for him, right? I want to teach him, right? I want to be that guy that's present for him, right? But what it did more than anything, it gave me a level of accountability when they weren't present. When I was out on the road speaking, when I'm backstage, I'm like, I got to lick it, man. My family back home, I'm away from it. When I'm sacrificing and missing the birthdays, right? When I'm missing the recitals, when I'm missing the games, right? And I'm on the stage and I'm serving, right? I got to make it count. Every opportunity, every place that I go, I'm representing something that's a lot greater than me, my lineage, right? And so it gave me that level of accountability and passion, and it gave me that engine. It put that battery in my back.
Yeah. And then just one other thing. Okay, so C always tells me, okay, E, you said it, but like you don't necessarily give me no practical steps. Like, what's the practical steps, bruh, of like, yo, working this hard on something and then not getting a reward? You know what I'm saying? Like, give me some, like, yo, just, I'm a normal dude. I'm listening to you, and I get it.
Right.
I heard what you said, but I did work hard for this. And I just think this generation, for whatever reason, maybe because they have had and they haven't necessarily experienced not having, it's like they seem like they're afraid to lose stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like loss is the worst thing that ever happened to them.
Absolutely.
What would you say to those young people who are going, like, yo, it's what you said. Life is real. Like, you're going to lose. Like, I look at my wife. She lost her health. Absolutely. Like, she don't have 100% health. But because of the way she grew up, that didn't really, like, it wasn't like she got MS and it broke her.
Absolutely.
It was just like, all right, cool. My daddy wasn't there. I'm used to stuff not being what it's supposed to be, so I'm going to make the adjustment. But give me some practical, bro. Like, I hear the mindset.
Absolutely.
Give me some practical steps of, I just lost my scholarship, or I just got found out that I'm not gonna make it to the league. Not even injured. Right. I just found out I ain't make it to the high school team. I'm a senior. I ain't make the squad. Give me some practical steps on what I can do to get past that.
I would say the first step is change expectation for appreciation. Right? Like the expectations that we have to do whatever it is that we want to do. Switch it to, like, it's almost the mindset of, I don't have to, I get to, right? Approach everything with a level of gratitude. Secondly, look at the things that you do and see what you can extract from it. So when you lose it, is it really a loss if I can extract a level of dedication from it? Like when I didn't make it to the NFL, I looked at the process and said, okay, I got to hang up the cleats, but let me extract that mindset. Let me extract that work ethic. Let me extract that dedication and commitment. So now that I can extract that, I can apply it to anything that I want to do in my life and get a chance at success. But most importantly, man, you gotta look at things and say, like, at a certain point, like, eliminate the outcome. Stop being driven by rewards. Stop being driven by outcome. Stop being driven by, if I get this, I'm gonna do this. Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were gonna get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important, what you acquire or who you become?
Yeah, that's big.
And a lot of people think what they acquire is the thing that makes them who they are. No, it's who you become in the process of chasing what you want to acquire, right? Change expectation for appreciation. Extract the lessons and the blessings from the situations that didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out. But most importantly, man, approach it and eliminate the outcome, right? Just go for it. Work. Go to work.
That's big. That's big. Ink, what's the you're traveling all over. You know, you're obviously doing gigs with you know, ironically now NFL, right? You wanted to be in the NFL playing, but God using you now in a different light. Where is one place that you haven't spoke or you would like to speak? Is there anywhere on your bucket list? Is it a country? Is it a you know, Nike? I mean, anywhere that you have not spoke? Because you're so powerful, I want to help you speak this thing into existence. And I just believe somebody listening will call. But if you say, man, for whatever reason, I haven't gotten a call from here, but I would love to go speak there. You've spoken so many places. What's that one place that you still have left on that bucket list?
Yeah, man, I want to go to Australia,
Okay.
you know, and take my family over there and see that side. You know, places like that.
Yeah.
You know, y'all inspired that. You know,
Okay.
from when y'all come back on the
next year,
trip
please come with me.
and talk to y'all,
Yeah.
man. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
and
let's
see
go
that,
together.
man. That's
Any
inspiring.
particular company or sports program or any like something over here that we can tangibly be like, oh, okay, like
Yeah, Nike for sure.
Nike?
Nike's
Okay.
the ultimate.
Good,
Absolutely.
good.
They
Yeah.
over there.
All right,
They're the
Brandon. My
ultimate.
boy Brandon. He
they're
listened.
the
I talked to
ultimate.
Brandon yesterday at Nike,
they're
so
the
we're gonna
ultimate.
help make that happen. All right, let me do some different kind of questions here.
Yeah.
What is and this is for both of you.
Yeah.
I want to know the one thing you appreciate most about each other in terms of actual speaking, right? Not as a man. We can talk. You guys are the highest level of character I've ever seen in my life. So, man, I feel like such a heathen sitting with them. I'm like, man, I don't do nothing. But I also want to know what's one piece of each other's game that you wish you had in your arsenal, right? So like like Jordan may say, man, I wish I could pass like LeBron. Or LeBron may say, man, I wish I had that last second killer instinct Jordan had. When you watch, and this is as it relates to your speaking styles.
Absolutely.
I'll let Inky you go first. What's one thing you appreciate most, and then what's one thing he has that you wish you could add to your game?
I appreciate his depth. Like when he like presents like the depth of the message. Like sometimes it's almost it's insane. Like when he was explaining when we first got together in Detroit, and he was explaining to me, we was in the back of a car, and he was talking to me, giving me advice about speaking and presenting. I'm thinking about it in terms of, I'm like, man, like it's like my man in a whole nother world. It was like we looking at that window, my man could see through it. Like he could see what's on the other side of it. And my vision stopping at the window. And he telling me what's on the other side of the joint. But one thing that I wish I had that he has in his catalog is, like, he can create 10 messages off of 10 things in this room. Like, easy. Like, no question. And each one of them be just as powerful as the last. Like, I got to think about that a little bit. I got to go do some work, you know, in order to bring it in that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So,
That's good.
Yeah, bro, Inky. Okay, that's cool, but like he got that drive that like he could penetrate through a wall. You know what I'm saying? That focus. So when you get up, hear him speak, it's like it's crazy because I'll be like, Inky, tell that story again. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard it 50 million times, but every time he tell the Oprah story, or every time he talk about being in college and sleep, you know, wanting to sleep in the king size bed, you know, or crib, like I feel like I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm there, and I walk away, you know what I'm saying, like sharing that experience with you almost. And it's so crazy because it's like most of the time for you to have an experience, like most people have to have that experience to have the experience. But when you talk, like I really feel like I'm literally on the mattress. Now I'm going to go home today geeked about my little bed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to value my bed in a way that I never valued my bed before. So I appreciate about you that I hear a lot of speakers speak and they're saying words, but they don't always connect with you and make you feel what they trying to feel. And no disrespect, we've been on the road together and the people who are with us are good, but I don't know that I'm like walking away like, I heard you and I'm going to apply it. And just with you, man, it's just that penetration. Like, I'm sure it's the same thing you said when you was playing football. When you laid wood on them, you laid wood on them. And when you speak, it's the same thing. Like the power in which you speak and the impact in which you speak. Like it's felt, bro.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, just watching the both of you, the thing that I admire both and why I think the comparisons are there, right? Like, in you guys are so similar in terms of character, humility, Ink is a little bit quieter than E. Off
more.
stage, obviously, Ink is a little bit more laid back, but on stage, the thing that just resonates, and E kind of alluded to it, but the way both of you are able to speak about those situations as if they happened like yesterday. Like, he got an insider, Ink. He got people who follow him around and like pours water when he's done. He got like all kind of stuff.
Kurt,
but when he's on stage,
that boy crazy.
you know what I'm saying?
He said, "Pour my water."
Yeah. But when it's like Prince Hakeem. Like,
Prince Hakeem.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the rose matters, the rose matters, and the bars, and the baby.
HBO. Somebody need a show. HBO. He need a show.
Hey, that's my favorite part of the movie when Prince Hakeem said, "Well, I actually rather enjoy the baby." Don't take that away. Yeah, I don't like the rose matters. I'm gonna keep the baby. But the way you guys are able to talk about the situations as if they're so present, and I think that's a skill set because people get so far removed. We talked about it earlier, how people can get Hollywood. It might be somebody who grew up in the same situation you did. They make a couple million, and it's like they not relatable. They're not touchable. They don't remember where they came from. It is all glitz and glamour, and they're almost embarrassed by the fact of where they come from, whereas you two embrace it on a whole nother level, and I think that's amazing, and it's one of the things that I use to get me going and going to that next level. What's the worst part of being a speaker, being Inky, and now that people know you getting stopped in the airport, people are finding out who you are, you got to take a million pictures. Is there anything that just bugs you now about being a speaker? Like, what's the worst part of that?
I would say the most challenging part of it is when I meet people that I think rock like I rock, in terms of being on the same frequency, doing it with the right intent. That heart is geared in the right way and want to do things for the right reason. That's the challenging part of it. And the way I approach it sometimes is like I've gotten taken advantage of before in a situation because I went in and my intent was right. Well, really, when they did it, a person asked me, they said, "Ink, man, why you let them get away with it?" And so I had to step back and analyze the situation and say, to the creator, what are you trying to teach me in that moment? Because I know I was here for a reason. Because if you didn't want me to be here, you would have blocked it, right? And so trying to understand those moments and how to treat those people, right? And responding to those situations. That's the most challenging part of it. But at the end of the day, I consider it all a blessing, like I always have. Like, I don't get hung up on stuff. I don't complain about stuff I'm not willing to change. I embrace it. I accept it for what it is, but never worse than it is.
Yeah, let me ask you this. How do you balance the family aspect? We see you, and you're on the road quite a bit.
Right.
And you're always in and out.
Absolutely.
I know you like diamond, triple diamond medallion on Delta.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In Atlanta.
Right. Yeah, for sure. How do you balance now with, deciding whether you'll do an engagement or not, and like you said, recitals and soccer games and baseball games and all of that? How do you kind of pick and choose? Because you make a ton of money, right? I don't put your business out, but you do great, right? And I like saying that because people need to know it's real.
Absolutely.
You thought you to call you and don't try to get on discount. Don't try to put people on discount.
I'm saying, here's the thing. The crazy part about it is, you'll have more financial success doing this than you ever would have had in football.
Absolutely.
Because you can do this you can do this until you feel like stopping, right? And so you do incredibly well financially. How do you decide now which engagements to take, which ones to turn down? How do you know when it's time to come off the road a little bit and spend that time with the fam? Lil Ink, I saw him the other day. He getting big. He's 6 now. And how do you make that decision to say, all right, you know what, let me sit down for a couple weeks. All right, now it's time to go, turn it back up. Is that a conversation you and your wife have? Is that, because I got a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast, and one of the questions they always ask is about balance.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to blow up. I want to make this money. I want to provide for my family. At the same time, I don't want to lose my family while I'm doing it. Talk to us about that.
And so things have gotten a little bit better to where I could choose more. And so even this year, like, I've stayed overnight 4 times. Out of all the gigs that I've done. And so I go, I get right back. But something happened a few years ago to where when I first started breaking into NFL, NBA, and teams started to hear about me, And so I'm like, man, if I get this gig, then maybe that'll open me up to more teams, this, that, and the third. And so I had told my wife it was an opportunity I had. I can't remember which team. And it was her birthday. And the gig was early, and it would get me, I could get in and get out by
Fair foul.
I would say right. I would say I could get back home by 1:30, right? And so I talked to my wife about it. Yeah, cool, yeah, we all good. So I said I'll just put in the spot till I get back with her grandma. Let her spend time, be all good. She said, yeah, it's cool. So we did it. I came back. Day went great, and so I approached her again on a similar situation. Wasn't her birthday. It was just a moment.
Yeah.
And she blew like a firecracker. And she mentioned the moment. And I caught it.
Yeah.
And so I caught the silent voice.
Yeah.
And so now when I tell her, hey, I'm going to block this off, I don't touch it. Like, bro, Uber hit me earlier this year for a gig. I had told my wife. My daughter had a recital.
Yep.
My son had a game.
Yep.
Me and my wife had a date scheduled. Uber call. Hey, speaker dropped out. Man, we would love to have Inky Johnson. Boom, boom, boom. We'll pay him this. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, nah.
And I went to, I'm like, nope. I'm like, I can't do it. And I wanted to, I'm like, I can't do it.
No doubt.
And so just getting to that point to where your word is your word and don't compromise on it. But working, it took a lot of work to get to that point to where I could pick and choose. It was a moment in time, man, to where it was an understanding between me and my wife, and she got it. And it was a sacrifice, but in those moments, I had to make that sacrifice count to get to where I am now, to where now I can pick and choose a little bit better, and it better serves my family. But it was a process to getting to that point. I didn't just jump there.
Yeah, I want to jump a couple of things, and I'll let you go, Ink. I want to talk real quick about Eric Berry.
Absolutely.
One of your best friends and little brother, I guess. Who also had an incredible story. And you kind of think, what are the odds here? But he actually wore number 29 at Tennessee because of you in your honor. And then Eric Berry a couple years ago, from my non-football fans, one of the best free safeties, probably the best free safety in the NFL a few years ago, was diagnosed with cancer.
Absolutely.
And he was in Emory, I think, here down in Atlanta. And you were obviously, with him side by side as he beat cancer and made his return to the NFL. How did that make you feel? What was that moment like for you and him to share that moment? Did you have any, kind of, flashbacks or any nostalgia just about your own injury? And now you're watching your brother, who you love, go through something similar, beat it, and then come back, and he's playing at a high level now. Can you just walk us through really quick that story and kind of where he is in his recovery? I'm assuming he's still doing great, and how that moment went.
Man, EB is a great person, comes from great parents. Like, AT knows him. He's met him up in Kansas City when he's working with the team. Just a solid person. And when I was at Tennessee and my injury happened, that following year, EB came. And so it would have been, if I'd have stayed in school, would have been my senior year, was his freshman.
Right.
And so I was back working out with the team, got my sling, my arm is hurt. I'm still going to meetings. I'm still guiding him. And so he caught that phase of my injury. Like, he caught it fresh. And so he was there. He seen me leading, doing different things. And so when he called me, after he got drafted, he called me right when he walked off the stage. I was GA. And he like, Ink, man, I'm going to wear 29. I'm like, man, you ain't got to do that. Like, wear your own number. You nice. Like, you the guy. He like, nah, man, you don't know what you did for me. And I'm like, man, all right, cool, man. I appreciate that. Like, that'll mean a lot to my son, my daughter one day. And when he got hit with cancer, he texted me. And he was like, big bro, you got a minute? I was like, yeah, no doubt, hit me. And he hit me. He said, man, did you see the game last night? I said, yeah, I saw the game. And he said they found a mass in my chest size of a softball. So they think it's cancer. So I'm like, whoa. And he went down to Emory, found out it was cancer. We went to breakfast. We talked about the process. And he decided that he was just going to do everything that he once did. Like, he made the decision. Like, as much as I could do and stay on my routine, I'm just going to do it. And so my man will leave chemo and go to the track and run 400s and be crying, puking after chemo. So when he came back the next season and got comeback player of the year, I wasn't surprised at all. But it did something to him. He said to me, Ink, I thought when people was acting like they was going through stuff or saying stuff was going on, because you get to the NFL, everybody coming at you, like I just didn't think it was real. And he was like, when I got hit with it, it created a certain level of compassion. Not that he wasn't. He's a great person. But when you get hit with something like that, your level of compassion and the sensitivity toward other people's situations, it increases and heightens, and it did that for him. And so now he approaches the game different. Like, my man loved the way the grass smelled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But different cat, man. He's solid.
Yeah.
He A1.
What happened to your Instagram, dog?
Man,
What? And
somebody tried to wipe me out.
Yeah,
say the names though.
Somebody tried to wipe me out.
We need to wipe them out.
Right.
They
So
got legs.
you
just
know,
like we got legs.
y'all know,
So wipe them out.
I'm social media deficient.
Oh, man.
But Ink was blowing up on the gram and
Man.
Facebook and everywhere.
They tried to wipe me out.
So, some Turkish hackers.
Turkish hackers.
That's how you know
right?
Ink a big deal.
Turkish hackers.
You know, Turkish hackers. They not coming for your high
man.
school yearbook photos. They
Apparently
they
not.
trying to take out.
They
So
tried to
what
hit
happened, bro?
everything. I was on a plane getting ready to go to Omaha, do work with Berkshire Hathaway, and I tried to log
That's
into
Warren
my
Buffett
account.
for y'all that ain't in the know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
For
not
y'all
in the
that-
game.
Yeah. For y'all that ain't in the know, that's Warren and them. WB, E homie. E refers to him as WB.
You know?
WB.
Yeah.
And man, I tried to log in and I couldn't. And they hacked my Instagram, they hacked my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and they tried to wipe out everything. And so we got the Twitter back, we got, the Facebook back, website back, of course. And I don't know, man. They sent me a message about something about God. Like.
Oh, I thought they asked for 10 grand.
Nah.
Got your IG ransom.
Something about God or something. That's all I heard.
Equalize.
Right?
So you
We'll
hit up
send the equalizer
Instagram.
over
We
here.
hit Instagram. No word
No
from Instagram.
response.
So if you're listening to this,
No
and this is
response
all seriousness.
at all, man.
If you're out there listening, we need to get Ink his IG back. I know Instagram got
response.
everything. There's no way that we can't get that back.
Yeah.
But we hit Instagram, no response.
No
if you're
response
out there and
at
listening and know somebody at Instagram,
If you
got
live in
any
Silicon
connections-
Valley,
Right.
Yeah, go up to
you need to go
Instagram.
up there and knock on the door.
And
Go
tell
through.
them you should have been verified anyway. I don't know if that would have helped if they put any extra security measures on that. But we'll get we'll do our best. And in
Absolutely.
podcast
Appreciate
world,
that,
if you're
man.
listening,
Appreciate that.
yeah, we want you. Let's
To my geek squad out there.
fight to
Geek
yeah.
squad that's
We
listening
fighting to
right
get
now.
Inky's
squad.
IG
Right
back. In all seriousnness, though, that's
Yeah.
a tool you use to get
Absolutely.
your message out to the world. So
Absolutely, man.
if you can help us out with that. Last thing from me, Ink. What's next? You what'd you say? You 32?
Yeah, 32.
32 years old. I mean, golly, you're just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
What's next on the horizon? I mean, obviously, continue to speak, continue to inspire the world, but what's next as a father, husband, businessman, entrepreneur? I know you got several other ventures. You're in
Absolutely.
some real estate stuff with some of your friends in the league, and
Absolutely.
you got a bunch of stuff going on, but what's next? What's kind of the vision? What's that next step for you?
Absolutely. It's finding vehicles, man, to push out more valuable content, to help not only adults but kids as well. And just as a father, man, I'm learning a lot, with my children and my wife, as a husband, I'm learning a lot, with success increasing, business increasing, and so trying to be more grounded as a father and as a husband so I could better serve my family, right, and not compromise. And so even with my son, not being so gun-ho that I'm not listening. And with my daughter, trying to be that guy for her, that she can come to and express herself. And to my wife, listening to that voice, right, that silent voice, what she doesn't say.
Yeah.
And as a speaker and as a servant, always keeping that level of humility, but most importantly, always being a student and being grateful for the opportunities that I do get, and doing my due diligence on those, right, to where I could best serve whoever I'm being called to serve.
Yeah, well, E and I, as your brothers, look forward to being, a part of that journey.
Absolutely.
I mean it, man. Like, yo,
Absolutely.
you meet some people in life who are just as solid as they come, man, and you are that.
No question.
Never change, Ink. And I thank you for joining us. I'm going to ask you to stick around. We got a couple announcements, but I'm going to ask you to do ET's Nugget of the Day for us. And if you could bless us with that. Yeah. We're going to ask you to take over and make it Inky's Nugget of the Day. Real quick, man, this episode, as always, man, is brought to you by Organifi. I got my Organifi right here. It's the superfood green juice powder. Listen, man, if you're not on it, you slipping. Understand that this thing, one of these a day, keep the doctor away. It really does, man. It's delicious. It tastes good. Super healthy for you.
Magically delicious.
Yeah, it's just delicious. I've been drinking this Ink for a couple years now, man. Just feel incredible. My energy, stamina up. And it's dope because you can see this little packet right here. You drop it in your water and shake it up and go. You know, everybody tries to juice. You know, everybody ain't got the free smoothies like you had at Tennessee. So you just drop one of these. You drop one of these in the water, shake it up, and you be ready to go
5 times a day.
Real quick, E, when is St. Louis, E?
St. Louis is
June?
next week.
Help me out. No, it's not. It's the 24th.
What's the day? Oh, the 6th. Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah,
next week, not this weekend, the following
Ink,
weekend.
when you living like E, you don't need to know what day it is. You just
Show up, right?
Yeah, you just show up.
You
and
just
make
show
it
up.
happen.
We got a great team.
So June 24th, June 24th is St. Louis. We will be in the Lou. Also, exciting announcement, and I guess this will be the first time we're saying it. We have a ridiculously special event. Can you get me the date on that from Tay for Philly? For Philly, yeah. Our first Ignite the Dream. Featuring Inky Johnson and Eric Thomas.
Oh, let's go.
Ignite the Dream. And this is not a conference. This is
I know
not
I don't make the rules, but I want to go first this time.
This is not a conference.
You know what I'm saying?
This is not a conference.
Put the
This is
pressure
not
on.
a keynote. We're not at a hotel ballroom. These two gentlemen right here,
Yes, sir.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
See, this is the first time I'm hearing about
it is going to be
Let's go.
it's going to be amazing. I talked to Ink about it the other day.
Yeah.
The and it's not like I said, it's not standard introduction, keynote. They're going to share the stage together in one of the most epic moments in motivational history. That's coming up soon in Philadelphia. So September 9th. All right, September 9th in Philadelphia. So we will.
I got injured. It's
Wow. Yeah. So it is going down. I'm super excited about it. We got some things in the works, man. It's going to be an event like we've never done. So September 9th, be looking for the details, etinspires.com/events. We'll post the details up there, shortly. But wherever you're at in the world, you need to come out for that because it's going to be an incredible experience. Also, man, Ink, you coming to Jamaica with us or what, man?
Yes,
Take
sir.
a couple days off, man.
I'm on that one.
Jamaica's February 25th to March 3rd, all right? So it's going down. It's 2019. Wow, it's 2019. Listen, man, we got a special offer right now, all right? The deal for Jamaica. Sign up now and save $500 on your ticket. Nice. Bring a guest for free, all right? So bring your boo thing, bring your friend, bring somebody you love, whatever. Listen, man, you get to bring a guest for free. First 15 people that sign up will receive one free VIP ticket to any live event this year. So if you want to use that for a VIP ticket to ignite the dream with Inky and E, you could do that. That's only for the first 15 people. And of course, payment plans are available. You don't have to pay all of it right now, Lou. You could just pay couple dollars right now, you pay a couple dollars later, and then
some
finish it up. Yeah, you could.
Bringing that back.
Yeah, well,
I thought Layaway was.
Listen, man.
America was through with Layaway.
For all of us that ain't doing the Inky and ET speaking all over the country, some of us need to regulate our cash flow. Okay, some of us need to make sure we straight. So,
I'm about to talk about that pool he got.
Don't say no.
He got the money. He got that pool.
You know them above ground ones that like plastic. You get them from Walmart. It's one of those.
I'm gonna talk about his whole house, y'all, in one episode. I'm gonna do it by myself.
No.
It's me and Carl.
It's a very meek 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom
studio.
Apartment. So Jamaica, man. E, tell them about Jamaica really quick, man. Why do they need to come to Jamaica? Let's just besides the fact that you and Inky are gonna be there, what else? What reason do they need to, kind of decompress?
It's a couple things, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. First and foremost, for what you're going to pay, you're going to have a network that you can't get access to generally, I think that's what a lot of you guys don't really realize is that access, there are people who never get to certain people. And just by coming to this event, you're going to be connected to people who can connect you to people, right? And then you're going to be able to do it in a very relaxing, atmosphere. It's like whenever I come to Atlanta and we do our studio work, I come to Patchwork. Guys, I wish you could just be in the room. Like, it's just peaceful. I came in before everybody got here. Once we closed the door to Atlanta, right, it's just so peaceful in here. It's calm. Like, the air is, like, perfect. Like, it's spacious. Like, the scene just, I'm for real, I'm just saying, like, I speak in a lot of different atmospheres. In this environment, whenever I come, I just feel serenity. You know what I'm saying? I just feel peace. And you operate at a different level when environmentally you know what I'm saying, that ecosystem, like, I'm just being real. So when you come to Jamaica, it's a different environment. It's not that hustle that you're used to every day. It's not, the air is different. You know what I'm saying? No problems. Like, it's just a different culture, the language. So you're going to be around some phenomenal people in a phenomenal environment with some phenomenal food and some phenomenal opportunities. And I would just say this, for real. For those of you who are the Inkies of the world, the ETs back in the day, we trying to break that ceiling. You're going to be with people who can help you break that ceiling. You're going to be in the environment, whatever. So for real, this ain't for people who just trying to rest and relax and you not trying to go to the next level. This is for those of you who are grinding and you trying to buy your time back, you trying to buy your life back. You're going to get everything you need in those 5 or 6 days to take you to that next level.
And we're going to turn up a little bit.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I'm on my side of the island.
Yes,
we're gonna turn
island.
up a little bit.
I'll be
on his side.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll be with
Me
my
and Kendall.
insider.
Me and Kendall gonna turn
I'll be
up.
with my
Nicky.
insider and my wife.
Jose.
I'm sure my
yeah.
son and daughter would love to
Everybody,
come over on y'all side and turn
Yeah,
up.
we're gonna be on
his side.
on the normal people's side, getting turned up as well, man. So join us for Jamaica, man. Phenomenal Life Jamaica is the website. Phenomenal Life Jamaica again. We would love to see you out. The next camp, what'd you say? Yeah, Jay, get on the mic. Come on, Jay. Get up here. Well, tell us about the camp. Congratulations. Round of applause to Jalen, Armand Thomas,
Yes, sir.
young hip-hop preacher in the building. Tell us about the next camp. Obviously, it's going to be free, so we can only take, how many kids are we, 150, 120? 120. So where can they go sign up, Jay? Tell them about it. Where are we going to be at? Let them know.
As of right now, you can sign up on academy.com. Things could change because of how it went in the update. So stay tuned and stay updated. I'm do my part so you guys can be in the loop. But I appreciate everybody who showed up in Atlanta. It was great. I couldn't ask for a better turnout. Appreciate you,
bro.
Appreciate my dad. Appreciate you, C.
Shadow,
and I'm just trying to show y'all what y'all invested in. So, it's a little
Yeah,
pressure off.
I'm excited for you too, Boog, because I think, coming and working for your dad is not easy. You and I live down here together, so we've had many conversations. And I'll be real, man. It moved me to see you in your element the last few days and how smooth the camp was running. And I said, okay, Jay finally found that lane. And it's good to see you in it. I'm proud of you for sticking it out. I thought you were going to leave us a couple of times.
Nah.
You was ready to jump off the ship and say, forget it. But you did an incredible job, man, and I'm super proud of you. Love you, man. And, thanks for that.
So where's the next one?
Yeah, next one
is Detroit, the June 18th and 19th at Southfield High School.
Nice.
18th and 19th in Southfield
So
High
Detroit,
School.
what up though?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
home. So
Coming home.
yeah.
I'm tired of all of that.
Yeah.
ET don't come home. ET don't do nothing. So we coming home. And then, of course, the next one is in
Chicago. The 25th and 26th.
Well,
25th and 26th.
The YMCA on 63rd and Stony Island. For those of y'all who know about the city, all right? So we'll see y'all at the YMCA.
They don't allow insiders there though, E. So you have to figure something else out. The YMCA is, you have to figure it out. Shout out to Kurt and Lou, man. And Lou, as always, on the engineering of the albums. Luther. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Kurt. Yeah. Me and Kurt neighbors now. That's how you know.
Big time
Kurt and our neighbors. So we're gonna do 4th of July together with the kiddos, man. So thank you guys as always for hosting us up here and making us feel like family. That's why the audio sound way better today than it usually sounds. Inky, man, again, bro. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for letting us be a part of your journey.
It's a pleasure,
Thank
man.
you for joining us on our journey. And get them out of here with
that nugget of the day.
With a nugget of the day. Let them know what's up.
Absolutely.
I forgot one shout. I just wanted to shout out to G man for helping me out.
Sure.
Man,
Kendall, shout out to G man.
I couldn't take the credit for nothing. They helped me smoothly. I just appreciate.
I saw y'all got Cam Newton out of there on the Secret Service
They
tip.
got Cam out.
Yeah, they got Cam out of there.
They'll never get me out of there like
No.
that.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Ink, take us home, baby.
Yep. I wanna share a situation real quick that happened when I was on a plane on the way to an engagement. I was dozing off and a lady came and she woke me up and she said, Mr. Johnson, I need to switch seats with you. It's an emergency. And so I got up and asked her where was her seat. She pointed me to it. I took a seat. And the pilot came over the intercom and said, I'm sure you guys are aware what's going on. And he followed it up with, it's a gentleman having a heart attack. And so everybody on the plane was like, whoa. And then he said, we have to make an emergency landing. And people on the plane was like, man, no, like I got to go. I got to get to where I'm trying to go. Like, no. And I was sitting there and I pondered it and I thought to myself, I said, man, I get it. People probably been away from their families, got things to do, people to see. I got to speak. I get it. I said, but is that what we've gotten to where destination has become more important than human life, right? To what I'm trying to accomplish is more important than human life, right? And I think more times than not, see, you got people in the world that's talented, that's brilliant, that's skillful, like incredible. They got it. Like I was talking to a young cat. I said, man, you got it. Like you tooled up. You got everything. You ambitious. Like you brilliant, right? I said, but you so ambitious, you're going to mess around and get blinded by your own ambition. I said, be careful when you reaching for them stars that everybody you love don't get burned up by that heat. Because the worst thing in the world to do is become a public success, but behind closed doors, you're a private failure. Stay focused on what's really important, right? What good is it to travel a journey and get to a destination and acquire the things that you want and the things that you thought you should get, but you destroy everything in the path in order to get there? Never forget your purpose. Never forget why you really do what you do. The founder's moment. Go back to when it really mattered, when it was really important. Don't be running around with that counterfeit passion. Stay focused, man. Let's go.
Ink, appreciate you, man. Love you, bro. Y'all go to iTunes, leave us that review. The Basing Sensation is back. We'll see you next week.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity.